Hello everyone, welcome back. I have not made an update video in a long time. We've been so hard at work here at Dispo Genius to build some pretty incredible things like GeniusReach. So today, or actually yesterday, we released this feature out to a couple of early adopters, and so far they've been liking it pretty well. We still have a lot of work to do, but essentially it actually, we use Genius Mode data. So you have a deal, you go to the GeniusReach tab, and we'll do a Genius Mode search, and it's slightly fine-tuned. So we'll look at essentially buyers in the area that have done a similar deal to the one you're presenting or the one you have in the last 12 months. And we'll look at the details of the deal that they did and your deal, and we'll determine the similarities and differences. And we'll use AI to essentially generate a highly personalized outreach message for each one of these buyers. And because I have seen previously that a lot of users will grab data from Genius Mode and then they'll like do a text blast and have like super unpersonal, and they get a lot of stop messages. And I thought this could be a lot better, and these messages could be a lot more personalized. So here's a really good example. It's actually a real example. It says, "Hello Mustafa, our boss here. I noticed you wrapped up a flip on 1419 South Fitzhugh Avenue about 6 months ago. I've got an SFH super close in South Dallas, both in 75223, open to doing another one there." So you can see the message is super personalized. It feels like a human wrote it, and surprisingly, this was automated and done by AI. So. And then you can also set it to where it sends to all three numbers, or just sends to the first number or the first two numbers, and just click to send, and they'll come from whatever number. We don't have the option yet to select what the from number will be, but we will eventually. We're waiting on some stuff from high level to kind of get through. But this is GeniusReach. It's super awesome. So if you have 39 buyers, you can just click and send out 39 extremely personalized outreach messages. So as you can see, here's some examples, and here's the templates area, and you can adjust templates as you want. So this is probably, this has been in the works for about 2 or 3 months now, and really, has been started, like R&D, took like 12 months or 2 months, and then, this kind of came in a month. So pretty fast. We had some delays in between, but we finally got it out, and there's still a lot of things to do, but we're gonna get at least the minimum, viable version out for the early adopters to test. So far, the results have been pretty good. So there you go. Okay, so this one is one I've been waiting on for a long time, and it actually helps with a lot of different things. One of the main things this helps with is being able to see from a high-level view all the buyers that you have in your system, and essentially having individual profiles for each. So you have, like, for example, Samuel, Fernando, and Elizabeth here. They have not responded to the last 3 deals we've sent them. So you can, if you guys have like a buyer intake person, or if you're the Dispo manager, then you probably want to call these people to kind of check in with them and see like, hey, are the deals I'm sending you just not fitting your buy box? Is the buy box I have right now not what your actual current buy box is? Are you still even in the market for buying deals? If so, I'm going to stop sending you deals. So you kind of like be able to see from a high level, okay, these are the people that are either close to churning from my list, close to opting out, or just ghost. And it's good to be able to kind of call them and be able to see, okay, hey, these are the buyers that are about to churn, and so on and so forth. We will have eventually, metrics here and better filtering to be able to see, like, okay, from top down, be able to see this is our most unresponsive buyer down to the the most responsive. And see a lot more metrics, but this is the minimum version, and I hope you guys like it. It is pretty cool, and then you can also open the buy box from here, and then you can do a bunch of filters, like filter by city, county, zip code, and so on and so forth. Other super major enhancements is number one is we've made some good progress on the Genius Mode skip tracing. We're able to get a 5 to 10% improvement overall in the overall phone numbers returned. Right now, I believe the power of Genius Mode, even though a lot of people are satisfied with it and think it's amazing, I think it's okay. There still needs to be a lot of work to it, and I expect by the end of next month that we have the kind of V3 version or the V2 version, where I think people will really be amazed at how crazy Genius Mode is. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna get pretty crazy, and I hope people are gonna like it. And yeah, we're also gonna have a couple things. I'm gonna skip a couple of them here. Is actually is buyer background reports. So that's coming as well, which we'll talk in a little bit. And that's like something I'm super excited about. Smart notification routing. So this is a little bug fix. Is you'd send out the deal sold, template, email or SMS, and then it actually go to the person you're under contract with, and you kind of don't want to do that. So we automatically just exclude them out. And then email tracking. You can now actually track each buyer and if they open the email or not, like the deal text email or not. So that helps you better target and segment your buyers list for potential sales follow-ups and stuff. We did a redesign on buyer offers. You can now the buyers in GeniusSphere are now properly sorted for probability to buy. We added Google as a source in the buyer buy box, and now that is a source as well. So you can label that properly. And then now, if you don't get any results, you will never see a no result screen on Genius Mobile. If we couldn't find anything, then we'll auto scale it, auto move it to a 3-mile search and a 5-mile search, and and it'll keep going until it finds at least one buyer. And then property type fix. So there was some bugs there that we fixed. Now, if we can't find a number or the current number we have was incorrect, which happens, then you can actually add your own manual phone number if you found that online somewhere. Number 10 is smart state. This is like a little enhancement. I'm not sure if a lot of you will feel it, but it's just a little user experience enhancement. Okay, so what is up next? This is something I'm super excited about. This is something a lot of people have been excited about. I've shared a couple of things about it, and it's the buyer background report, and I'm actually going to share it right now, a quick demo. So as you can see here, we have the Genius Mode screen, and as you can see, there's a tiny little telescope right here. And if you see this next to the individual name, if you click on it, we will actually pull a background report on that individual. This is just a design right now, so this is why it's not showing the same thing. But we've already tested this internally and it works. We just have to design the front end and stuff. But if they have any social medias, if they're on LinkedIn, if they're on Facebook, if they're on Instagram, if they have a YouTube channel, we will know about it. If they have a Realtor.com profile, if they have a Homes.com profile, if they have a direct website, if they're on a podcast with Brent Daniels, or if they're on a podcast with some other guy, we would know about it. So it is kind of freaky. Sometimes, as you can see here, it mentioned that they attended a certain high school. It was actually surprisingly easy to, we're actually kind of astonished by how easy this was to actually build. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, but it turned out to be a lot easier than we thought, and we're like, this would be awesome to provide to our users. And the main benefits, our hypothesis here, is that users will have a better time calling buyers, and buyers will feel a lot more special on call. It will allow for more ammunition for users to be able to build rapport a lot better, and I think buyers overall will be a lot more receptive when you've done your research, or you say like, hey, I saw you on this podcast, and some of you may have a question like, okay, what about accuracy? I think so far, anecdotally, what I've seen, there's really no way to measure accuracy without actually reaching out to these people and confirming details. I would say anecdotally, the accuracy is probably above 90%, and we're going to continue working on improving that score. But we're going to see when users actually use this data and see what happens, and then kind of go from there. So far, it's been pretty accurate, reliable enough for sure. Okay, another thing is we're going to completely revamp the buyer genie design to a V2 version to make it look much nicer, and then bulk buyer import feature. So when users would come onto DG, they would have these buyers lists, could come super raw, and they were tagged previously in the CRM, or they were stored as fields, or it was super messy data. And then when they came on to DG, they were like, I have to do this one by one. That's kind of annoying. I love the product, but this is the most painful part of the product. So it's actually been something we wanted to do for such a long period of time, and it was actually a challenge to figure out. But I think we're close to cracking the code. I wouldn't say we're there yet. We still have to test it. But now we're going to provide an easy way for users to just upload their previous buyers list into the platform, and we will use essentially AI to convert all that raw data into our standard profile formats in Genius Profile. So we'll automatically translate that data. You don't have to hire a VA, or you don't have to do it yourself to translate that data, those buy boxes. And then Genius Mode, tons of optimizations here. We're going to do UI UX improvements, better user experience, and obviously more accuracy. There's a couple of things we're going to be doing to increase the accuracy overall. By people like to kind of say their accuracy is really high, but they don't say the full picture. The full picture is nationwide. I can say is probably 50 to 60% hit rate. A lot of people are not close to that. They'll say not 80, 90%, but 80 to 90% in states like Florida where data is abundant. What about states where data is not abundant, or data is very messy? So that does bring down our average a lot, and we're working on that right now. And there's solutions in place that we're going to test, and we're going to see if it works. It may not work, but we're going to try our best and see what happens there. Overall, I think we're going to be the most accurate. We want to get to a point where Genius Mode will be so good that unless you knew the person already, it would be more unless you knew them already, it'd be more accurate. So anything you can deep research online or anything like that, we would know about and we would be able to find. So essentially, unless you knew them through someone, and that would be more accurate. But other than that, we should be able to beat in every scenario. I wouldn't say with 100% certainty, but that's what we're striving for, and I think we're getting closer to there every single day. We're also doing a major optimization to the Genius profile, so we're adding a bunch of new fields, like for example, septic tank, waterfront, buyers that don't like to be buying anything on the waterfront, and then buyers that only buy on waterfront, buyers that avoid properties with a pool, properties that avoid properties, with a solar panel, and so on and so forth. So we're working on that stuff, and tons of UI UX improvements, and I think the journey is pretty bright ahead. We have a lot of things coming up that I want to mention, but once I get closer to that date, then I'll start mentioning it. But as of now, these are the kind of new things that are coming out, and I'm super excited about them, and I think a lot of people love it. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching.